Did you know that the asteroid that hit the surface of the Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs was 6 miles in diameter? It struck the surface of the planet with a force that exceeded 100 teratons of TNT, which is equivalent to more than 1 billion Hiroshimas. 1 billion Hiroshima. Listen, I saw Oppenheimer. I saw it in the front row. That thing took my eyelids off. You're telling me times 1 billion?
Yeah, nah. We can't fathom.
It's unfathomable. It's unfathomable levels of power.
Wait, hold on a second. And that didn't destroy the planet.
No, it didn't destroy the planet.
So, we pretend that, Putin can destroy the planet. He can't.
I think he could destroy lots and lots and lots of humans. He could
probably end all life.
Yeah, he could destroy lots and lots and lots of humans.
He could probably end all life. But that's just as bad, though.
I think that's just as bad for us anyway. It's not for the planet. The planet is like, result. But yeah, it's all life.
Well, remember I showed you the diagram about the bomb, the Tsar bomb, which is 1,000 times bigger than Hiroshima. So
insane, man, insane.
I think it's more than 1,000 because you saw everything. But anyway, let's start with question of the day before we get back into
literally. Question of the day: you are performing jury duty in a nuisance suit in court. The plaintiff is a middle-aged woman with 3 children and a severe peanut allergy. She claims that the defendant spiked her sandwich with peanut butter as a prank. As a result, the plaintiff went into anaphylaxis and required an emergency shot of epinephrine to live. So the paramedics had to give her the EpiPen on the floor of the office while she's just to make sure she lives. The defendant is the woman's office colleague. He claims that the plaintiff has been stealing his lunch from the company fridge for weeks, despite repeated requests to desist. He also claims not to have known about his colleague's peanut allergy, although the quantity of peanut butter in the sandwich tells you he is lying. Not enough to be detected by scent, but enough to irritate an allergy. If you find the defendant not guilty, he will be let off scot-free for intentionally attempting to harm a mother of 3. If you find the defendant guilty, he will be charged with attempted murder and sent to prison because somebody stole his sandwich. What do you do?
See, now I wish I hadn't heard this organically. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Yeah.
We're not going to do the organic no more because that is a very, very good idea. I'm very impressed. But you've blundered it. Why don't you...
How?
No half measures.
How?
Make it poison.
Huh?
Make it poison.
Ah, come on. Because you know what it was? It had to be, if it's poison, it's easy to send him to It's easy to send him to prison.
No. I poisoned my own sandwiches, which I'm more than entitled to do.
I think
I'm more than entitled to do that.
I think a jury would be like, it's poison. It is poison. It is poison for somebody. I feel like it's cleverer that he put peanut butter because that is
because you're not gonna. Okay, you don't want to actually hurt the person. But more of a dilemma is if it was actually poison and she got really, really sick, or even if it was, put raw juices on it and got her really, really sick, it's still, that's my sandwich. Screw you.
That's true, you could do that, but it's like, what kind of person is going to do that over a sandwich?
Well, it depends. Do
you know what I mean?
Listen, it depends. I've actually heard something like this.
What if you forgot? You put poison in his own sandwich and forgot it.
I know I haven't answered your question, because I think this is kind of obvious answer anyway. He's got free.
Well, to be fair, it's obvious what you said. You said put poison.
Poison.
So
I think even if he poisoned it, he's still getting off
cyanide.
So, I heard of something similar to this. So what happened was, let's just say there's 2 people, roommates or whatever. The roommate has a son, and main person would cook foods. And she would notice that the son's gone and eaten the food. Yeah. So what she's done is she starts lacing her food with loads and loads of vegetables, which doesn't bother her because she likes vegetables, but she knows kids don't.
Okay.
Then woman come to her complaining, can you stop cooking vegetables?
Yeah, you're mad.
You're mad. She's like, oh, my son
did this to catch you up.
But the woman come to her saying, "Brazy, why are you cooking so much vegetables in the food?"
I would be like, big man, how do you know? How do you even know?
She's like, "Oh, my son's hungry or whatever." You're doing it. You're being mean. You're spiting my child.
Is she right though? Listen, it's brazy of her to even come and say that to me. You said that to my face after I was trying to catch you out, and you literally said, "Can you please stop putting it?" I'd have head by that. I'd have lost it.
You're not being mean though.
The
kid's hungry.
It's my things though.
The kid's hungry.
Feed your son, isn't it? We're talking about.
The kid's hungry and
feed
you're spiting the
son.
kid.
Listen, feed your son. Feed your son. That's it.
Oh, that was a good one though. It had potential. It had potential.
Do you know what? In retrospect, I'd leave it exactly as it was. So we can agree to disagree. I'm right. Yeah, we can agree to disagree on that.
Pause this video right now and shut up. Go and read Eve by
Kat Bohannon. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
Or you can join us anyway, because we're going to tell you all about it. My name's Elijah.
I'm Joseph, and welcome to the Aisha Library.
So,
I thought he was going to do the whole title, you know. It's got some long title. Eve, it's got a long...
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
It's ridiculous. It's how the female body drove 200 million years of evolution, of human evolution.
Oh, okay.
So it's some long title.
I saw that. I did see that, but I should have... If I had remembered, I would have put it down.
Yeah.
Because it's quite important, actually.
To be fair, the reason I didn't put the blurb is because the title is the blurb. It genuinely tells you everything you really need to know about the book, how the female body drove 200 million years of human evolution.
So we're going to just jump straight into it. Yeah, we're featuring women today, so,
100%. We're Caitlin Warren today.
Exactly. Like if you like women. Give us a like. And also, big up to the Spotify listeners, because I'm watching you lot, the views are coming, and, it's good. And then we've got Rumble as well. We've got Rumble, Spotify, Apple Music.
Apple Podcast,
Go follow us and, learn some shit. Dumb fucks. We're dumb as well. That's why we read so much, so that we can, it's like the more you read, the more you realise how little you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was like, it is what it is at the end of the day. Some broken clocks are right twice a day.
Yeah, I actually used that yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, I used that yesterday. I was
great minds.
Yeah. So, did you know that women generally need more anaesthetic or painkiller than their male counterparts to receive the same level of pain relief? This is proof that women are weaklings and crybabies, and they should take it like a man.
There's a reason the phrase is take it like a man, not take it like a woman,
Then again,
the funniest thing is, does this mean men be able to withstand childbirth? Does this mean that levels?
I think Piers Morgan answered that.
Yeah,
question.
he did, but that's Piers Morgan.
Yeah, he's not really the pinnacle.
He's not
of male strength.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So you watched the video?
Yeah, I watched the video.
Hilarious. We're not being paid by him, but you have to go and watch.
You have to watch it. It's hilarious.
It's
but here's the funniest thing. I just thought, why would you do this? Why would you do this on TV? There's no
not on TV.
Either you was gonna be like easy, or you was gonna fall apart.
Yeah,
there was only two options, and it was probably gonna be fall apart.
So you wouldn't try it?
Nah.
No, I wouldn't try it. No,
I wouldn't try it. No, I'm happy not knowing what childbirth feels like.
I never would have. There's
Literally,
loads of things.
I'm not in the habit of giving my blessings back. Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, I was joking before I got cut off. Women are not babies. If I was to take a guess as to why women need more anaesthetic or painkiller to receive the same pain relief as a man, I would assume because they've got a higher body fat percentage, and fat bitches need more pain relief. No, I'm joking. The reason is women's livers are actually slightly different, and they metabolize drugs in a different way. So one thing that this woman highlighted is that lots of studies of all these drugs are not being tried on women. So drugs that we've been using for a long time, only brand new drugs. I think they brought in a law that says they've got to now try these drugs on women, because the doctors are giving you drugs that have been tried on men. So they don't know what happens to a woman. They don't know how much to give them specifically. And she kind of highlighted, I can't remember what the drug was, but it was just the doctors were over prescribing it.
There were some drugs, some long names,
and they were over prescribing it because they hadn't tried it on women, and it damaged women. So we need to start using women as guinea pigs too.
Literally got a hat trick. What is the first thing newborn mammals need after they are born? I thought it was food, which I thought was a fairly reasonable assumption. Food, i.e. milk. But apparently the first thing they need is water. Adult humans are 65% water, newborn babies 75%. We can last up to a month without food, but we cannot last more than 3 or 4 days without water, even an adult. The only problem is mammals are born on land and the ocean is far away. So what does evolution do? Evolution steps in. What do women have? Breasts. Breast milk is 90% water. Almost the entire reason that women have breasts, we've even said this before, you've said this before, is so that they don't have to carry their vulnerable young to the ocean for water. If they have young, which they might not. Bearing in mind, women who don't have children still have breasts on an off chance. Not only that, but because water is so good at carrying diseases and bacteria that can harm infants, the mother's body also acts as a filter, which I didn't actually know. That is super interesting. From an evolutionary standpoint, the only things that actually matter: finding food, avoiding predators, resisting disease. Basically, those three things. We have hunger to remind us to eat. We have fear to remind us to run from the saber-toothed tiger. And when we're sick, we sneeze and cough, which are involuntary impulses to expel harmful bacteria. Just as an example. So obviously there are other ways of fighting disease, white blood cells, yada yada. Things I don't understand well enough to explain them to you, but I know they exist, right? But it is super interesting how the mother's body is basically set up as a factory. It is like a factory. Every single thing the baby needs. Bear in mind, this is before an ounce of technology. This is before internet. This is before formula. This is before anything. Modern medicine, all of that. Everything the baby needs is literally inside the mother's body, and there's even more to get into. But
yeah. There's loads. I want to jump straight onto my one about breastfeeding then.
Go for it.
In the first few days of giving birth, a mother's breast milk is completely different to what it will be for the rest of her nursing time. Mm-hmm. It will be more like a pus that is vital for lining the baby's digestive system to help them break down the nutrients that they will be consuming for the rest of their life. Think about it. The people that, this is what she said, the people that discover the land make the rules. So basically, that pus is a specific type of nutrients that goes in and it lines the stomach and lines the digestive system and puts in the healthy bacteria to digest food. So we used to think of breast milk as raw nutrients, but actually most of what's in breast milk, we as humans cannot actually digest. But that's okay. It's because it's not for us. It's for the bacteria we've just lined our stomachs with. The breast milk is actually organised in our gut. So, and we need to learn a bit more about the digestive system. But there's a lot of things.
You can dunk on them people on Reddit. That's cooking you.
There's a lot of things, and I'm going to touch on that. There's a lot of things that we as humans can't digest,
Literally.
So, for example, corn, we cannot digest it. That's why when you eat it, and it comes out exactly the way it is. Mm. So there's a lot of things we can't digest, and it's actually the bacteria inside our stomachs are eating it and expelling it, and then we are digesting that, which is crazy. We're like an ecosystem in and of itself. We're like a collection of organisms.
Definitely.
That we have no idea about.
Bacteria, microbacteria warring against one another. Like you said, who gets here first controls the land. So it's like the first bacteria that you have to war with the next bacteria to get here. Like good bacteria is warring with bad bacteria, and like it's mad. Like we said, what did that guy say? The guy that's always crying. He said, "You're too complicated to like understand."
Yeah, you're the most complicated thing in the universe. You are incapable of understanding yourself.
Yeah, it's
which
too
is
much.
Powerful.
It's very powerful.
It's
too
crazy.
much. Jordan Peterson. That's
I haven't finished.
Yeah,
no, I have. No, I just wanted to highlight that I got banned off Reddit. I got banned off Reddit for saying... I got our account banned off Reddit because I said that breast milk is vital and it's much better than formula. And I got banned for that. This is the type of world we're in where you cannot speak the truth, You can't speak the truth. And I actually linked an NHS website into the chat. And I got banned, I got downvoted loads of times. I got banned, and then I appealed the ban to the moderators, where I linked in the NHS website where it specifically says that breast milk is better than formula for many reasons. And they said stop, and they muted the conversation. So I couldn't.
Well, look, the tyranny of the block button strikes again. The tyranny of the block button has allowed people to basically reject, like. Conversations in real life don't happen the way they happen online. For example, conversations in real life, you can't just
go. Do you know what I mean?
La.
Well, you can't do it maturely.
You can't do it maturely. You just look like an idiot.
Yeah.
You can do it online, perfectly maturely, so to speak. Press that block button, press the mute button. Moderators exercising their power, admins exercising their power, and it is very I don't want to say fascist. That's probably too strong a word, but it is the makings of fascism. Yeah. It's censorism. It is censorism. And it's like you should be able to deconstruct their arguments eloquently, and if you can't do that, then maybe you're outclassed here.
Exactly.
I've been enjoying the nuggets of information this book has so far, and the author had to go and ruin the experience for me by dropping some of Elijah's favourite one I had, indoctrination.
It's not about the trans stuff, is it?
Huh? No, it wasn't about that.
I don't want to touch on that.
We're not big enough for that. We might be just small enough for that, actually.
Exactly.
Either way, let's give it a wide berth. It's not worth it. We'll never win. So the author is explaining to us a bit about breast milk. In the early days after childbirth, a woman secretes something called colostrum, which is rich with another thing called immunoglobulins, which are antibodies. So this is a pre-breast milk that I was just talking about. They basically seek and destroy pathogens that the mother's immune system flags as harmful. Later on, the colostrum changes to what we recognise as breast milk. Midway through this detailed and illuminating breakdown, however, author Kat Bohannon says that in the 15th century, German physician Bartholomew Mettlinger published the first German language textbook on paediatrics, which is true. She also says that despite the German's own lack of breasts, he didn't hesitate to mansplain women's milk and what to do with it. I can only conclude that this must be some kind of women's joke that I'm too toxically masculine to get. But in this exact same chapter, she talked about how women used to think that colostrum was rotten milk. And many mothers refused to feed to their babies, even though it was building up their immune systems. And not only that, one thing that you forgot as well, it has laxatives in it, which was flushing out the intestine and things like that. So babies need it. They need colostrum. It is vital to their growth. It's vital to their development. And mothers were not feeding it to their babies because they thought it was rotten milk. So what does this mean? This means having breasts doesn't make you an expert on anything. Yeah. You know what makes you an expert? Having a degree, being a licensed doctor, publishing a book on paediatrics, that kind of makes you an expert. Yeah, I mean, I know this is 15th century, and like he had some outlandish ideas in this book. Like, you know what he said? He said, it is better he thought the milk was rotten as well, to be fair, and he was like, it is better to have another woman nurse the baby, like, in the infancy. And then he was like, oh, if you can't find another woman, like, nurse it off a young wolf or something. I said, what are you talking about? Where are they going to find a young wolf? Remember, she even said that in the book. Yeah. But look, it's the Dark Ages, man. No one knew anything.
Yeah, so also breastfeeding is not a one-way job. As the baby feeds, traces of the baby's saliva goes back into the nipple, and this is called spit back. This form of communication triggers the mother's body to adapt the chemical structure of the milk she is producing to fit the baby's needs. Did you know that?
Formula can't do that.
Yeah. So, for example, if the baby is fighting an infection, that information will be present in the baby's spit. This will then trigger the mother's body to send reinforcement amino acids and friendly bacteria. In other words, send in the cavalry.
And
that was fascinating to me because I had no idea about that.
How would we know?
I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? Breastfeeding doesn't make you an expert. Yeah, but so what do you think about wet nurses then? Because wet nurse is better than formula, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. Well, look, nah.
So wet nursing isn't gonna be as effective as
it's not going to be
original milk, because obviously she's feeding wholly to babies and the milk's being...
And they're not going to get that kind of...
They're not going to get
benefit.
Exactly. They're not getting the two-way, the communication. What would you feel about if you... Let's just say randomly, you know, you had a baby and whatnot, and you got someone to look after your baby, and they breastfed your baby.
I mean, knowing what I know now... I'd probably, before 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I probably thought it was nothing, innit?
You think it was nothing? You think that's okay?
It's not okay. I mean, now, definitely not. Absolutely not.
Really?
Mother or nothing. Or really? Give the baby back. No joking. But, no, honestly, 100%. I believe like the mother should be breastfeeding.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. So that, because
I watched a documentary about breastfeeding, and they had all mothers there, and babies were just swapping over. The babies were swapping over. They were swapping over.
They said me next.
Literally, and they said this was what people used to do back in the day, wet nurses, and it's like the children would choose which I want the chocolate milk. I want the strawberry, the vanilla milk.
It's like, your one's got bigger ones than mine. I want those ones. That's my son. That's what my son's going to be doing.
So basically, they said something along the lines of, it's more likely for a woman who's had her first child or only one child, the likelihood is that she would be angered by someone breastfeeding her child. But a woman who's had two or more, it would be less angry about it.
Okay. Well, look, I imagine that there's some. It's easy to see the benefit, the evolutionary benefit of women like gatekeeping, who's looking after their children because they're supposed to be protecting them. So it's easy to see the evolutionary.
No, but
why evolution might do that.
It's actually quite ridiculous, actually, because think about it. You give your child cow's milk. But
yeah,
you're not going to give a breast milk from someone else.
Cow, though,
so are you now ridiculous now?
Well, personally, I think if it's an evolutionary response, which we've been reading so much about, then I don't really think that makes you ridiculous. Like, you're predisposed to do this. You're predisposed to feel this way. Like, you're not making this up inside your own head. You're not the first mother to feel this way. You won't be the last.
Well,
you know
from
what I mean?
what we know about emotions is that they're constructed.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
you've decided to feel.
You've
that
decided
way.
to feel angry, and I will not decide otherwise.
We're not getting anywhere. Let's move on.
We're definitely, but we will never get anywhere with these deep.
With you.
So here's the bit that I started with. The asteroid that hit the surface of the Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs was 6 miles in diameter. It struck the surface of the planet with a force that exceeded 100 teratons of TNT, which is like dynamite. I forgot to properly look up what it is, but I believe it's like dynamite, which is equal to more than 1 billion Hiroshimas. The world caught fire. The energy of the impact launched molten debris and hot ash into the air, which ignited the planet's surface when it touched back down, causing wildfires and blazing infernos. The iridium-rich dust clouds created by the impact blocked out the sun, and when the fires burned themselves out, the planet grew cold. The very concept of evolution suggests that the planet and maybe the universe itself has some form of base consciousness. If sentient is too great a word to use, that is. If that were true, then maybe the eradication of the dinosaurs and things like the volcanic eruption of Vesuvius in Pompeii were predetermined events. How else do you explain volcanic ash being fertile, if not to purge the landscape without permanently making it barren? So something I didn't actually know, volcanic ash is fertile. Soil from inside volcanoes is fertile. And it's like when the ash collects on the earth, things grow out of it because it's fertile. So it's like God's way of wiping the earth clean, if you will. And it's like, why is the ash fertile if not for that purpose? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, things have been set up long before us.
I don't know enough. I don't know anything.
I don't know enough either. I'm asking the question.
But I assume that doesn't the lava come from the core or the center
for the
of the
Earth's core? Yeah, the magma. It's only lava when it reaches the surface. It's magma at the Earth's core. So it's like melted rocks, super hot melted rocks.
I mean, everything that you bury things and it returns to the earth. I mean, how far down does it go? I mean, maybe it goes. I mean, the nutrients, because everything's nutrients.
Well, to be fair, we're talking about bacteria or harmful bacteria. Like at them temperatures, I don't know if that bacteria is surviving at them temperatures. When you talk about lava or magma near the Earth's core, I don't know if anything's surviving at them temperatures. But again, we don't know enough about volcanoes.
We're not geologists. We'll add that to the list.
Yeah, we're not geologists or whatever. But we will be by next week. We will be geologists certified.
Liposuction is terrible for you, women. Men do it too as well, don't they? I don't know. But yeah, liposuction is terrible for you. Women, as we know, carry more fat on their body than men, especially around their thighs and their buttocks. This fat is so interconnected with their body and vital that it can be used as an accurate indicator of when a young woman will start her first period. The pregnant female uses this fat, hence why, you can use that as an indicator, right? The pregnant female uses this thigh fat, which is necessary for developing the fetus. Think about it. Your body spends 15 years building up these nutrient-dense fat reserves. Once it builds up enough, it then triggers your first period. So we know it has to be important. And you lot throw that shit away with liposuction. So, it's interesting how we ain't got a clue about anything. We just don't like this fat. Your body's doing something for a reason. It's building up those nutrient-dense fats. It takes 15 years or so. That's when girls get their first period or whatnot. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%.
But it takes at least a decade to build that up. And you lot just say, don't like it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But to be fair, it is crazy. But this just goes to show how uninformed we are. I think uninformed is probably the best word to use.
That's a beautiful word because it's not offensive as well.
It's not offensive to anybody. It's literally just like you were just uninformed. You just say,
no.
But
no,
what I think is interesting.
No one's thought about it.
Exactly. What I think is interesting. I saw this meme one time, and obviously it's a little bit silly, but it is very, very true. It literally says humans will drink alcohol, and the liver will filter the blood to repair the damage to the liver, make sure you don't get drunk. We'll fucking drink it again. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like we're at war with our own bodies. Our bodies are trying to do things for us, not to us, for us. We're trying to do things to our bodies. Why? Because we want small waists or whatever people want. So it really is ridiculous, and it's abuse from a certain perspective. Why is the female human body a miracle? Funnily enough, the human body is already a miracle. A walking, talking factory of bacteria and microorganisms waging war on one another, constantly working to pump blood around the body, extract energy from food, and combat disease. Impulses are working to avoid predators, to stay warm, protect the young. All of these processes are running concurrently while we think about rush hour traffic and Love Island and all manner of frivolous things. The female's body accomplishes all of this while also acting as a perfect incubator / gestation engine / nutrient filter for her young. She not only grows her young inside the uterus, she shackles it to herself via the umbilical cord and develops a placenta to feed the baby oxygen and nutrients while it cannot feed itself. This is all without a single drug, without a single piece of technology, without a single benefit of modern medicine or modern science. At this point, it is all evolution. So it's like, I don't know. It's crazy. We think, well, obviously, modern medicine, modern science obviously gives us a lot of things, but there's things that, like what we're saying about formula, where we don't need that because the system is perfect for us.
Yeah,
it's set up perfectly for us.
Exactly.
It's one of the very few examples of a perfect system that I can even think of, to be fair. And it is just crazy how the information has just been recorded long before us. And, you know, evolution's got it done. What is evolution? What is it? Where is it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where is it?
Transcendent.
It is crazy. It is crazy.
So, yeah, part of the human female body being a miracle is... so apparently, what did she said in the book? What's her name?
Or Cat Bohannon.
What Kat said in the book is that humans used to, or once upon a time, or probably were marsupials. That's what she said. Or she said there was 2 types, maybe, and the marsupial version died out. Marsupials are like the kangaroos.
Yeah, carry them in pouches or whatever.
Yeah. But she was talking about the pros of an egg hatching inside you. So if humans, the egg hatches inside. You know, obviously we've got birds and fish and whatever. They lay their eggs and the eggs hatch. But the pros of an egg hatching inside of you sounds horrible.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like
I.e.
alien movie. Alien movie, you know?
I.e. being a female mammal. You can run away from danger. You don't have to protect your eggs if you're under attack. And number 2, you don't have to worry about keeping eggs at the right temperature. Your body does that automatically. This means our ancestors, you know, both parents could go out and forage for food, whereas reptiles and birds, you know, somebody has to stay sit on that egg, keeping it at the right temperature. So, you know, we you know, you might think of pregnancy as an inconvenience and whatnot, but it simplifies.
We wouldn't want to mansplain pregnancy to anybody. Just get on the record. but the facts are here for you if you like.
It is an interesting way to look at it because, you know, as I said, you know, we'll never be pregnant. But I know women who were, and women will do, and they definitely see it as an inconvenience.
Yeah,
when they're sitting there.
Yeah,
no, it's easy to see why, but things could always be worse.
Yeah, no, there's nothing without a little effort that can't be made worse. 100%. If you think things are as bad as they could be, wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Genuinely, wait till tomorrow. Do you know what? You just reminded me of something that I even forgot to put in my notes, where it was like another one of the benefits of not laying hard eggs, so to speak, because like chickens lay hard eggs, and they said they're mostly made from calcium, and there's not enough calcium in the body to just produce eggs and just leave you with the amount of calcium you need. So it comes out of the bones, because obviously chickens don't have teeth. It comes out of the bones, and then chickens' legs will break after they lay eggs because like their legs aren't strong enough. Their legs lack calcium now because they've laid an egg. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that is crazy to think about. You could just have maybe your legs break. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing. When your body, going through pregnancies, that baby will strip your body clean.
Literally.
You know, they will take the calcium. Your teeth will start rotting.
Yeah, crazy,
your bones will. It's respect to women.
Listen,
always
100% respect to God for putting me on a winning team. I said it wrong. There are some excellent pieces of information in this book, and I can quite safely say from this point on, I would be happy to read it a second time. I actually really thought, genuinely, I really thought there was a lot of interesting things in the book. I thought she put it in a really, really easy to understand, coherent way. Yeah. There was like the anecdotes at the beginning of each chapter. I wasn't a big fan of that.
Yeah, she's done a lot of waffling. There was a lot of waffling, and there's a lot of opinions.
There was a lot of opinions,
and a lot of guessing.
There was a lot of opinions, a lot of guessing, but I felt like she always did her best to make it clear that it was a guess or an opinion.
Yeah, no.
Like she would italicize certain words.
Well, I listened to it, so I didn't hear the italicism.
You can always hear the inflection of the italicism.
No,
you can hear that.
Talking about?
You always hear an inflection. Let's say you want to put inflection on a certain word in a sentence. You want to emphasize it. You can hear that in the voice.
Yeah, but do you think that's what she did?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, I think the book was alright. It was worth reading because there was quite.
I must have said that about every book we've read, other than like 2. It was worth reading.
No, because even Lock Nero, I don't know if it was worth reading. It wasn't worth the money. It wouldn't be worth.
So you your money back.
If it was free, then yeah, read it. But
and
so
this book, 10 shillings back.
This book is worth the money, but it's not. It's not. I don't think it was that good. I enjoyed it, but I prefer to just read the evolution book.
Yeah, that's exactly.
But I said women didn't do enough.
On that, I'd be happy to read it a second time, literally just to pick up any info I might have missed. I must say this though, and my dear woman, I assure you, I take no pleasure in punching down on a fellow author. whatsoever. But she's not funny, unfortunately. The jokes weren't funny, the quips weren't funny, the little tongue-in-cheek one-liners weren't funny. Let me give you an example of what I mean, right? So Bohannon starts talking about the sensory array and the different ways that mammals use sound to communicate. Super interesting stuff, especially in the crowded jungle, which she calls the primate equivalent of yo, which made me cringe. According to Bohannon, eventually the system was complex enough to carry messages such as, yo, I'm here, or yo, awesome buffet happening up this fig tree, or yo, you're sexy. It's like, why would I laugh at that? My search for a funny woman continues. Well, I just really don't understand why it was... Okay, that's a joke. I've met loads of funny women,
Maybe, I think this book is more for sciencey
then
people.
She should keep it that way.
No. I'm saying those type of people would find it funny.
You think so?
Maybe.
I don't know,
maybe.
I'm too dumb to find this funny. Is basically what you're saying. Yeah, nah. Yeah, and obviously my next one was, what did you think about the beginning bits, the anecdotes, where she'd be like... I can't even think of what she's even doing. Like, she would have like characters for the animals and like explaining like what they're doing. It was kind of important. Some of them were important, but like most of them, I was just like, just get to the good bits.
Are you talking about when she would have the names for different types of humans and whatnot?
Yeah. And animals are extinct now, whatever. And then there was a tiger she did one time. Tiger that was killing. I don't even know what it was, and she was calling everything the Eves, and I was just very confused.
I think do you know what? I think it made it simpler calling them Eves, but the only problem is now we don't know what type of humans they were, what type of humanoids they were. You know, we don't know if they were Homo erectus or you know, or Homo sapiens or whatever. So, and maybe that wasn't really important because there were so many different types or whatnot. But I think it did make it simpler. She called them Eves, and we knew that they were female humanoids or whatever.
That's
it was
what
our ancestors.
It was our... much had to say anyways.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, part of me thought, okay, she's got like her own little, you know, interesting way in which she's bringing forward information. Creative, like I haven't seen it before at least. Another part of me was like, you had to get the workout, didn't you? I've done it before, you know. Listen, there's no shame. We've all done it. Get the workout up. Be like, due to instead of, because you know what I mean? Like, just stretch it out.
Did you know men's ears are better tuned to hearing low-pitched noises and women's ears are better tuned to higher pitches, specifically over 2 kilohertz? Guess what sound is over 2 kilohertz? A baby's cry. So, bonus question. Which came first? The specific pitch of the baby's cry or the female's ear being sensitive to over 2 kilohertz?
I think it's probably the baby's cry probably came first. And I think the woman's probably adjusted to that over time to hear that. I
don't agree.
You think it's the other way around?
It has to be the other way around.
Why does it have to be the other way around?
Because what would have happened is, for some reason or another... I might have just changed my mind. But what I was going to say is, so there were babies before that cried at a different pitch. Their mother didn't hear them. They died. It's as simple as that. So the babies who had a specific pitch, they passed on their genes. They grew up, they survived passing their genes. So that's why I say the ear would have had to come first.
Right.
But...
what need would there be for the mum to hear it that, if not for the baby, though? That's why I said baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the mum...
No.
Maybe I don't hear, you know?
I don't know. I don't know why it was like that. You know, sometimes things make it through evolution without being on purpose. It's just carried through. It's just carried through. So maybe the ears evolved this way, you know, to be this shape, and that means that it's more sensitive. Or maybe the female head's a bit smaller, you know, than a male's head, so that means it's more... I don't know. I'm not...
Probably there was someone we could ask. Right? These feet are not meant for walking. You know that song? Well, it's boots are meant for walking, but these feet are not meant for walking. What if I told you that your feet are not actually for walking? A few million years after the last common ancestor between chimps and humans, Ardipithecus ramicus walked the earth, who some say is the first humanoid biped. Ardi had a pair of strong front legs for manipulating food, and a pair of strong hind legs. The feet of each of these hind legs more strongly resembled hands, with longer digits meant for grasping branches and footholds in order to stay inside trees. Over time, this genus would learn to condition an appendage meant for grasping to support the weight of the body by rolling the foot from heel to toe with each step. So it is literally conditioned our feet to be feet for us to walk on them on the ground. Do you know what I mean? Because we were in trees, and they were more like hands for you to grasp the branches. Because like if you tried to grasp on your foot, you can't do anything with that. All you could do is stand. So it's like, remember what you said about like, what was it? Them kung fu people conditioning their shins by like kicking metal and kicking. It's genuinely true. You can condition parts of your body, and it might take millions of years that you don't have, but you could genuinely. It's possible. And when you see like apes who are like we have common ancestors with, all their feet look like hands. Do you know what I mean? And it's like over time we like slowly walk to them more. I don't know whose idea this was, but we got it done, and like now we've got feet. So it's super crazy. Our feet are not actually meant for walking.
Yeah. I got 3 more.
I have got 3 more.
So,
how about that?
Is abortion actually inherently wrong? A lot of female mammals can forcibly abort their pregnancies. Horses, mice, lions. They are capable of triggering abortions, and they do it for specific reasons. So, for example, if you put a pregnant female mouse in a cage with a male mouse, she will trigger an abortion. So they will do it for specific reasons. If they either feel threatened or they feel like they need to mate with this with the male, then they will trigger an abortion. So horses do it, lions do it, and mice do it. There are other mammals that do it too. So the reason why they do it is apparently their body. So I don't know if this is like we don't know how much animals know and how much is like instinctive, but the male's going to kill the baby anyway. So that's why apparently they've evolved to be able to just trigger the abortion, because it's a waste of nutrients, it's a waste of time and whatnot. But my question is, if abortion is part of nature and mammals have evolved to be able to trigger abortions, but we can't as humans anymore, we must have been able to do it at some point, or maybe we did, maybe we didn't. We might have been able to do it. Is it actually wrong then? If it's part of human nature, surely that's just an opinion and it can't actually be wrong. If it's the woman's prerogative to trigger an abortion as and when she's needed, is it wrong?
Well,
because I believed it was wrong, but now I've changed my mind.
It's arguable to say if we were supposed to do it, we'd evolve to do it. Same way the mice did, same way the horses did.
Maybe we did or didn't, or maybe we did before, but we've lost that ability.
Yeah,
maybe you can train your body to do it.
That's a good question, to be fair. I don't know if there's...
If you can train your mind to be still... And from birth, your mind isn't still.
Well, look, there's people have power that is unknown. There's a thing called a hysterical pregnancy, which is where a woman wants a baby so much her body mimics the symptoms of pregnancy. She's not pregnant. Her body mimics the symptoms. Like her periods can be late, like her breasts can swell up, her nipples get tender. No, I don't think that far. You need a few cakes. Yeah, you might need a few cakes for that. But genuinely, it's a hysterical pregnancy. Like a woman wants a baby so much, her body will mimic the symptoms. Her body will respond to like her hormones. People have power. Maybe you can do it. I'm saying maybe you're right. Maybe you can trigger pregnancy, trigger abortions.
So what are you saying? Is it wrong then?
I personally think sleep in the bed you made. No, I'm joking. I think it's arguable. It's definitely arguable. It's a good point. I think if it's in nature, that is a very strong argument for it not being wrong. It's a very, very, very strong argument. But look, it's cannibalism in nature, spiders eat each other, praying mantises eat each other.
Well,
is that an argument for it to not be wrong? It's very funny. It's very funny. But I think that's a very strong point, to be fair. I think it's a very strong point. I have to think about it, and it's definitely worthy of reconsidering your position on abortion.
Yeah, it's made me change my mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's worth reconsidering your position, I think. What does it mean to be smart? Author Bohannon just made a good point. When we use the word smart, typically we're referring to academic prowess, maths or English or some subset of science. We don't call an Olympic pole vaulter smart, or a boxer or a sprinter, even though that requires study, practice and discipline, just like anything else. Typically, we reserve words like smart, clever, genius and intelligent for problem solvers, regardless of the skill's apparent practicality in the real world. If you could solve complex riddles, for example, or if you can quote large passages of informational textbooks from memory, you are smart. The $1 million question is, and this is what she asked, did men evolve to be smarter than women? And I was like, that's just a funny question. Well, to be fair, it turned out to be a huge waste of time, this entire passage, to be fair. Because she literally went on to be like, no. That was like the end of the whole... There was a whole monologue.
What I said. The whole book, it was kind of like an uplifting of women and anything.
It really was uplifting of women, and I've got something about that as well. Because and she was like very dismissive of... Well, I'll get to that anyways, to be fair. But I just thought it was interesting, did men evolve to be smarter than women? And I heard somebody else say... which is kind of a different question. Is it better to be stronger or smarter? Because he said, like, by almost every metric, loads of metrics, academic metrics we're talking now, like college, exams, tests, things like that, women tend to outperform their age mates of the opposite gender tend to outperform boys who are the same age. At the same time, especially in the Western world, and definitely more so in the Eastern world, like it's like men are on top and women are not on top. So if you're smarter, how did you let this happen? How's this happened? So does that mean strength is more important than intelligence?
I would have picked intelligence.
You would have picked intelligence. I mean, look, it seems like the smart thing to pick. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, this data is showing us that women are smarter, and the data is showing us that men are winning.
Are men winning? Are they on top?
Well, that's a good question. That's, again, men being on top is a matter of opinion. Loads of people
I'm
say
always
loads
on
of
top
different
of the
things.
bedroom.
I'm always behind.
That's what you like, mate. That's what you like. That's what you like. Is it my turn?
Yeah, I've got 2 left. How many you got left?
Yeah. The word hysterical comes from the Greek word uterus.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That is funny. I didn't know that either,
late.
but hysterectomy makes sense.
Yeah. Hysterical though.
Yeah, I know what hysterical is.
Yeah,
hysterical.
This woman's hysterical.
Yeah.
But yeah, hysterical. The word hysterical comes from the Greek word uterus. As late as the 1920s, clitoris stimulation was thought to cure hysteria in women, so an orgasm. Doctors would perform this task. Furthermore, they found it boring, which is the reason why vibrators were invented in Paris. It was supposed to also cure constipation and face wrinkles. What are you doing? Just your girl.
What, she's got face wrinkles?
No.
Or going to the doctor?
The doctor said I need, was it clitoris stimulation, and he's going to perform it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's mad. That's mad. He's going to perform what? He's going to be performing surgery on himself about clitoral stimulation. Yeah, that's definitely not happening.
Yeah.
That's definitely not happening.
The doctor says I need it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you need. It doesn't matter. Hey, don't matter what you need to worry about me.
Well, do you think maybe we could get the doctor to show you where it is?
If you bring... Even if I go over to like the guy now, I'm gonna be like, move out the way, nigga. I know where it is. Tell me to look for.
I judging by your reaction, you didn't think I was gonna say that.
No, I didn't think he was gonna say that. I didn't think he was gonna say that. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, back in them days, what kind of age are we talking in? What kind of periods are we talking in?
Oh, I think it's the woman.
No. I mean, no, but what kind of years are we talking?
1920s.
1920s.
As late as 1920s. So that's when people started. Men started catching up. Wait,
Tills
what?
like, you go to the
The
doctor.
woman, I see the woman come in the house and
Been to the doctor
relaxed,
4 times
you know?
today. Yeah, you've been to the doctor 4 times
Today? 4 times today?
What's wrong with you? You alright? You dying or what's going on?
Woman coming in like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's mad, literally. Yeah, man, do you know what I mean? Talking about it helps relax her.
Relax.
Ridiculous.
Doctor Han tired, you know.
Oh my god, literally, he's doing Spider-Man all day.
Man that have one arm.
one arm and one skinny arm, you know. Ah, Ned. Oh,
Imagine you're the doctor, your wife's like, what have you been doing today? Well, helping the nation.
I've been helping out. Doing my duty. According to a study conducted...
The doctor's using his piece.
Nah, come on, you can't do that. You can't do that.
I'm stimulating, what are you talking about?
You can't. You have to smell his fingers.
No. Oh.
According to a study conducted by a journal called Brain and Cognition, men having substantially thinner cortexes or grey matter on the parietal lobe of the brain is associated with superior spatial reasoning. For example, if asked to rotate an imaginary 3D shape in their heads, boys and men tend to complete this task with greater accuracy than women and girls. I really do not know how scientists could know such a thing, but apparently they know. They sound smarter than me. So yeah, boys and men tend to complete this task with greater accuracy than women and girls. Author Kat Bohannon supposes that this may translate into a gulf in the way men and women complete daily tasks. The simple ability to assess and visualize space. Where did the joke about women not being able to park come from? Where did it come from? Because it sounds like it's backed up by science here. Where did it come from? That cannot be a coincidence. There's a running joke that women can't drive and women can't parallel park.
Yeah, parallel parking is definitely...
Parallel parking is the one. I think in America it's more driving in total. Over here it's more parallel parking because that's the one I've heard.
But I did hear something like women aren't as good with spatial awareness, which is obviously kind of what you said, but it's kind of in mental spatial awareness. So they're not as mentally...
Yeah, and it's like they memorize things differently. They memorize routes differently. For example, they'll look for landmarks as opposed to men will just see the route and be like, I know which way I'm going because she also said something along the lines of you ask a man to
memorize a route, he can do it much better than a woman, unless you tell a woman, let's say on this corner there's a person there, and on that corner there's this person there, and that corner. So women pay attention more to people.
Yeah, women are people, but we know this from birth because women girls like to play with dolls. They like to play with human likeness. Well, boys like to play with trucks and dinosaurs.
Did you know that that study was actually extrapolated to apes? So apes, the female apes would much prefer to play with figure that looks like a person, humanoid, and the male would prefer to play with things. So that's the difference. That is actually one of the main differences.
And the funny thing is, the DNA between us and apes are like 99% the same.
Bonobos and chimps.
And chimps. It's like 99% the same.
99.9.
That's insane.
So all the differences our caveman eyeballs can see is in that 0.01%, which is crazy.
That is insane.
You know, I used to think that, you know, Chinese people would have slightly different DNA, you know, and white people and whatnot, but we're all exactly the same.
We're literally all exactly the same.
Which is crazy. So all the differences.
Level, literally. DNA wise. Should I do my last one or do you want to go? Because I've got one left.
Alright, I'll go with my last one then.
Go for it.
There's a scene that made me realise 100% that I could not be a surgeon. There was the part where she said
the guy that crashed his motorbike and did to cut.
Yeah. Feeling for the man's Adam apple and cutting into the man's neck and inserting a breathing tube directly into his lungs.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that.
Well, it was a crike, which is crazy because I actually learned something because I thought that was a tracheostomy, but tracheostomy is something completely different. Well, it's not completely different. It's just for people that need long-term breathing support. A crike, I can't even pronounce the actual word. They shorten it to crike. A crike is for people that need emergency breathing now. So if the airways are blocked, yada, 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 and they said there was tissue built up in his airway or whatever. So yeah, they have to make an incision in the throat, tube in, fresh air, yada, yada, but that scene's long.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
But it must have been way longer for the guy that crashed his bike because they said his face is gone. They was like, his face is gone.
So Joseph, if I can't breathe, I need to cut my neck open.
Well, I'd have to. What would I do? Like, stand there and watch you.
I'd be like, Joseph, it's nice knowing you.
Start to see if I got change on me. See if I got cash on me, you know. Yeah, nah, that was I could definitely never be a surgeon. Definitely. Especially like he's doing this on the phone to this guy who's telling him what to do, you know. Can't even really. He's like, feel for his Adam's apple. Now,
I think it was FaceTime. Was it FaceTime?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You will FaceTime if you kill this guy. So that's all I know.
Well done. Well done.
How did you do that? Do I win?
It's not like you. Funny. Intelligent.
Am I insane or am I picking up some judgmental, somewhat biased undertones from the way this author is speaking about women versus men? Which this book isn't even supposed to be about women versus men, but you open this door, so we're going to walk through it. Dare I accuse a fellow author of picking sides in a gender war that was won long before she was even born? I say this as a member of the ever-victorious chapter of the sex binary, Team Man, or as they might say in Latin, Team Homo. Why are you laughing? What's funny about Team Homo?
No,
don't laugh, tell me.
Suits you.
Don't laugh, tell me.
Suits you.
Anyway, my point about Kat's bias. When speaking about disorders commonly diagnosed in the sexes, she was very quick on the draw when it came time to spin women's disorders into warped positives, such as clinical depression during pregnancy or shortly after childbirth, making women feel as if they are bad mothers or bad women. Kat clarifies that this feeling is actually because they are too good at being mothers and too good at being women. And I was like, oh, thanks for that. That clears it up. Oxymoronically, her supposition that men being more likely to face alcohol and drug problems may be a result of innately masculine obsessiveness or compulsiveness, is what she said. Essentially, women are crazy because, baby, we're crazy because we come like that, is basically what she said, or she supposed. If you're watching this video, Kat, however unlikely that may be, I have a question for you. Why is it that a licensed German physician who quite literally wrote the book on pediatrics in the Middle Ages is unqualified to talk about breastfeeding because he doesn't have breasts, but you can talk about obsessive masculinity? Why is that fair?
Maybe because you're obsessively masculine.
Maybe. Is this not womansplaining? I can make up words too, you know. I just thought that was super weird. It's literally just like, you know, mansplaining is only a thing in one direction. Like, it's only rude to talk about things that you have no knowledge of when we do it. And it might not even be we have no knowledge of it. Do you know what I mean? Because he was a pediatrician.
Yeah, we need to get her in it.
Get her in it. Explain
there were some
yourself.
things that I would actually like to ask her to explain herself with. So she said that rape in the duck culture or the duck in ducks is prevalent, and she said that so basically, the duck vagina has evolved to be like a trap door, so that the duck can get raped, but it won't get pregnant, sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
And then she said, so then the duck penis has evolved to be like somewhat like a corkscrew, so it can bypass. So it bypasses the trap door or whatever to then get pregnant, which didn't make any sense to me at all whatsoever. Because realistically, if evolution is about passing on genes, why would your body evolve to not get pregnant?
Why would your body evolve to be able to terminate your pregnancy?
Well, to preserve that at least makes some sense though, because it's about preserving your life immediately. Because they said so they said the male lion would kill the baby definitely, and it might kill the woman. So well, not the woman, the female. Yeah, you know, it's because males are just dangerous. They just So, but in terms of evolving to not be raped, like evolution doesn't care if you're raped. That's feelings,
Yeah, no.
So that's what I didn't understand. I'd like to explain
question,
that. It made no sense to me at all whatsoever. But I knew you wouldn't be able to answer that.
Yeah, no, of course not. If I did, like, that'd be remarkable. Remarkable. We wouldn't need you in here, actually. I could have wrote the book myself.
Yeah, exactly. But overall, it's worth reading. It was worth reading. There was some good piece of information in there. I wouldn't recommend it to
I'd read it again.
Really?
Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend it to
I'd read it again.
Would you recommend it?
I may come to regret that, but no, okay. I'd read it again because I feel like there was more for me to get from it, and it was very interesting in spells. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I wasn't interested.
It was quite easy. I found it to be quite an easy read.
It was fairly easy, and I think it's credit to the author to make it like that, because we've read some science books where I said, listen.
No, you're actually... You know what? I have to give her some more credit then, because this was a very sciencey book, but it wasn't... It was like... It was manageable.
Remember Why We Die?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, that was worst.
Heavy. But she spoke about the telomeres and stress in this as well.
Did she?
Yeah, and stress is an indication of how healthy you are, and she mentioned some things in there.
But there's some science books we've read that I'm literally like, brethren, I don't even understand. And the funniest thing is, there was a lot of words in this book that I didn't even understand. I couldn't pronounce a lot of long words, for example. I wouldn't say there were some long words that I didn't know. But on balance, I think it was written very well for the average reader who's curious about human evolution and Eve's and the woman's body and things like that. And there was, again,
I actually don't know how much of evolutionary material was actually in there yet.
There was a lot where I was like, this doesn't seem like anything to do with evolution.
Loads of the things that I mentioned are just facts about what we have and do and use and perform. And
because evolution is such a broad term, you can always link it to something. But
it's not really about
evolution.
There wasn't that much about to do with evolution. If you want to know about evolution, don't read this book.
We was promised 200 million years, 200 million years. We didn't get 2 years.
We didn't get
200 million.
I just changed my whole opinion of this book.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll just switch it up. We'll literally switch it up.
It's worth reading, but not if you want to learn about evolution. I probably wouldn't say this.
Yeah, there was some interesting things in there.
There was very interesting things in there. But yeah, I think...
Yeah, we've said that over thousands of times.
We don't have a quote. Because you're useless.
Useless.
I guess until next time.
Definitely don't follow, like, and subscribe.
Yeah, definitely don't do that. Yeah,
like, we're not YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like, definitely don't follow Spotify.
Rumble,
Apple Podcasts, all of that.
Well, till next time.
Till next time.